The flames licked the sky like a bad barbecue gone rogue, turning my cozy suburban haven into a bonfire of HOA vanities. I stood there in my pajamas, barefoot on the cul-de-sac asphalt, watching years of my life crackle and pop into ash, the acrid stench of melting plastic and petty revenge filling the night air. But as the sirens wailed closer, I wasn't panicking. I was plotting, because this wasn't just arson. It was the climax of a neighborhood war where the real criminals hid behind clipboards and covenants. Let me rewind this suburban horror show. My name's Elias Thorne, and I just relocated to Willowbrook Estates, a picture-perfect slice of American suburbia in sunny Texas, where the lawns were greener than envy and the rules thicker than a Karen's address book. I'd snagged the last non-HOA house on the block, an old holdout from the 70s, grandfathered out of the Homeowners Association's iron grip. Freedom, baby. No mandatory mulch colors, no fines for unapproved bird feeders. I could paint my mailbox polka dot if I wanted, though I didn't. I was a quiet guy, a corporate compliance officer by day, which meant I knew a thing or two about rules and how to bend them without breaking. But from day one, the whispers started. That new guy's sketchy, they'd say at the block parties I skipped. Heard he works in some shady firm downtown. Lies, of course, spread like wildfire on the neighborhood Facebook group. I ignored it, sipping my coffee on my unregulated porch swing, observing the circus from afar. Enter Victoria Hale, the HOA president, or as I came to think of her, the queen of quibbles. Picture this. Mid-50s, helmet hair bob that screamed. I peaked in the 90s. Always in khakis and a cardigan that matched her perpetual fake smile. She patrolled the streets like a self-appointed sheriff, clipboard in hand, measuring fence heights with a tape measure she probably slept with. For the community's aesthetic harmony, she'd coo, but her eyes said, obey or pay. She knocked on my door that first week, armed with a Tupperware of store-bought muffins and a glossy brochure titled, Join Us. Building Better Neighbors. Mr. Thorne, welcome to Willowbrook, she said, her voice a saccharine drawl that could curdle milk. We're all about unity here. Joining the HOA would really help maintain our standards. Think of the children. I took the muffins, stale as her ideas, and replied, appreciate it, but I'm good. Freedom's my jam. I shut the door gently, but her smile faltered like a glitch in the matrix. That was my first mistake. Underestimating how much she hated no. The harassment rolled in like clockwork. First, anonymous notes in my mailbox. Your grass is 0.5 inches over regulation. Consider compliance for harmony's sake. I wasn't even in the HOA, but facts never stopped Victoria. Then the fines appeared, slipped under my door like unwanted love letters. Unapproved exterior decor, $50. My decor was a single potted plant. I tossed them in the trash, but the rumors escalated. He's probably hiding something illegal in that garage, someone posted online. Why else skip the HOA? I stayed silent, documenting every note, every post on my phone. Patience was my weapon. I'd been through corporate witch hunts before, but Victoria upped the ante. She organized a neighborhood watch meeting right in front of my house, complete with folding chairs and lemonade. We're concerned about nonconformists eroding our values, she announced to the crowd of nodding busybodies. It's about safety, really. One guy, her sidekick Barry Klein, a pudgy accountant who doubled as HOA treasurer, piped up, yeah, who knows what he's up to? Could be a fire hazard. The irony hit me later, but right then, I just waved from my window, sipping tea, letting them stew in their own absurdity. Weeks turned into months, and the pressure cooker hissed louder. Victoria sent a certified letter threatening a lien. Failure to adhere to community standards may result in legal action. For the greater good. I fired back with a postcard. Not bound by your bylaws. Best wishes. That lit the fuse. Whispers turned to outright sabotage. My trash cans mysteriously tipped over weekly. My car egged once. But I kept cool, installing discrete cameras, backing up footage to the cloud. I knew their type. Power-hungry amateurs who thought rules were their personal playground. One evening, as I worked late reviewing compliance reports, ironically, on fraud detection, my phone buzzed with alerts. Motion detected. Front yard. I pulled up the feed. 2 figures in hoodies, slinking with gas cans. One tripped on my garden hose, cursing softly. The other, unmistakable bob haircut peeking out, hissed, "Hurry, Barry. This'll teach him to defy the community." They doused the porch, flicked a lighter, and scurried off like rats from a sinking ship. By the time I raced home, the fire department was hosing down the inferno. My house? Toast. But my rage? Ice cold. Standing amid the smoldering ruins the next morning, I felt the neighborhood eyes on me. Victoria sauntered over, clipboard tucked under her arm, feigning sympathy. "Oh, Elias, what a tragedy. Probably faulty wiring. If only you'd let our approved inspector check it. HOA perks, you know." Her smile was so plastic it could have been recycled. I stared at her, deadpan. Yeah, or maybe it was the gas cans I saw on my camera feed. Her eyes widened a fraction, but she recovered with a chuckle. Cameras? How paranoid. Must be the stress. I didn't bite. Instead, I called Detective Lena Vargas, a no-nonsense cop I'd met through work connections. She arrived in plain clothes, surveying the char with a raised brow. "Mr. Thorne, walk me through it." I handed her a USB drive. Footage, timestamps, faces half visible but clear enough. One drops a lighter, fingerprint goldmine. She nodded, pocketing it. "Suspects. Not speculating," I said, echoing my inner lawyer. "But check the HOA meeting minutes. They've been gunning for me." As she left, Barry shuffled by, avoiding eye contact. "Terrible accident," he muttered. "Accident my ass." I thought, but aloud I said, "Sure, Barry. Pass the lemonade." The real fun began when I dug deeper. While crash surfing at a motel, I pulled public records, HOA filings, bank statements. Turns out, Victoria and Barry had a slush fund labeled Community Enhancement, but the money vanished into petty harassments and ghost contractors. I cross-referenced with my screenshots of their online rants. Non-joiners are parasites. Time to fumigate. Motive. I tipped off Lena anonymously at first, then met her at a diner. "This isn't just arson," I said, sliding over printouts. "It's a pattern. Look at these fines, bogus but collected in cash." She whistled. "Fraud? And if they cross state lines with threats?" "Federal," I finished. She grinned. "You compliance guys are sneaky." Meanwhile, Victoria hosted an emergency HOA meeting on her lawn, rallying the troops. "This fire proves we need stricter enforcement." "For safety," a neighbor murmured. "But wasn't it his house?" She snapped. "Details. Unity first." I watched from afar, chuckling at her desperation. Her facade was cracking like my charred foundation. As the investigation heated up, the midgets of absurdity piled on. Lena's team lifted prints from the lighter, Barry's, of course. And the hoodie matched Victoria's signature cardigan from a neighborhood picnic photo. They hauled them in for questioning. I imagined the scene. Victoria, perched in the interrogation room, clipboard less, sputtering. "This is outrageous. We're pillars of the community." Barry probably sweated buckets, blubbering about misunderstandings. But I didn't stop there. Remembering old HOA complaints buried in county archives, I filed to unseal them, whistleblowers from years back alleging embezzlement. The judge, an old colleague who owed me a favor, approved in hours. The docs revealed a web. Fake liens, coerced sales, all funneled to a trust Barry managed. Homes sold cheap, flipped for profit. "Land grab in khakis," I muttered. I dropped the bomb at City Hall, cornering Councilwoman Reyes in her office. "Victoria's turning Willowbrook into her kingdom," I said, stacking evidence. Her eyes bulged. "This could dissolve the whole HOA." "Exactly," I replied. "Call the vote." The council chamber buzzed like a hive of pissed-off bees. Neighbors packed in, some with their own tales. "They fined me for my dog's bark. Threatened to sue over my holiday lights." I presented like a TED Talk on tyranny. Slides of emails. Eliminate the holdouts by any means. Bank trails, fire footage. Victoria burst in midway, red-faced. "This is slander. We're protecting property values." I turned, Calm as a cucumber. Protecting or profiting? Your enhancement fund bought that new SUV, didn't it? The room gasped. She stammered. That's for official use. Barry, beside her, looked ready to faint. The council voted unanimously. HOA charter revoked, assets frozen. As cops cuffed them outside, Victoria hissed at me. You'll regret this. I shrugged. Regret? Nah, this is community service. But wait, the rabbit hole went deeper. Lena's raid on Barry's shed, more like a bunker. Uncovered forged deeds, burner phones, and a ledger of extortions. One voice memo, Victoria's drawl. If they won't join, burn 'em out. Call it an electrical issue. Our inspector's on payroll. Turned out, my fire wasn't the first. 2 others ruled accidents. The feds swooped in, RICO charges flying. At the federal arraignment, I sat witness watching Victoria in orange, her bob wilted. The prosecutor laid it out. Arson, fraud, racketeering. They weaponized neighborhood watch into organized crime. Bail denied. Victoria's lawyer yelped. But she's a community leader. The judge snorted. Leaders don't torch houses. Outside, media frenzy. I slipped away, but not before Lena handed me more. Hidden cams and streetlights, blackmail photos. Systemic, she said. We filed class actions. Pro bono teams swarming. Victims emerged, stories pouring. They drove my grandma out with fake violations. The DOJ seized everything, dissolving the HOA for good. In the aftermath, Willowbrook breathed free. No more clipboard patrols, just actual barbecues. I donated my lot for a community park, Thorns Haven. No rules, just roots. On opening day, under blooming oaks, kids played, neighbors chatted without fear. Victoria and Barry? Guilty on all counts, her 28 years, him 30. The inspector got 10 for cover-ups. Justice didn't rebuild my house, but it planted something unbreakable. Accountability. As I watched the sunset over the park, a kid asked, "Why no rules here?" I smiled. Because real community doesn't need them. Now, tell me, in a world where community standards become weapons, was the HOA the real fire hazard all along? Or was it the guy who refused to play along? Who's the true villain here?